Welcome to Wisdom House, your home for bite sized wisdom from the greatest books of all time. Today, we're diving into Atomic Habits by James Clear, a groundbreaking guide that reveals how tiny, consistent changes can transform your life. If you've ever struggled to build good habits or break bad ones, this book is for you. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Wisdom House for more insightful discussions. Now, let's get started.
All right, let's dive into this whole world of habits today,
Okay.
and specifically into how even small changes can make a really huge difference.
Yeah.
You sent over some excerpts from James Clear's Atomic Habits,
Okay.
and we're using that summary as our roadmap for this deep dive.
Excellent choice.
Yeah.
Even a summary of Clear's work
Right.
can be a total game changer.
Yeah, totally agree with that.
Mhm.
One thing that really stood out to me
Yeah.
was this whole idea of getting just 1% better each day.
Okay.
Clear says that can lead to almost 38 times growth over a year.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild. Like, imagine, applying that to your writing.
Right.
If you write just 1% more words every day,
Yeah.
think about how much more content you'll have created by the end of the year.
It's incredible.
It's incredible. Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
Clear explains this using the concept of compounding gains.
Sure.
Just like interest builds upon itself, these small improvements, they accumulate over time, leading to those dramatic results.
Yeah.
He actually gives us a calculation,
Okay.
1.01 to the power of 365,
Wow.
which equals 37.78.
That's pretty convincing.
That is.
Argument for consistency, but
Yeah.
what about the flip side of that?
Right.
What happens if we get 1% worse each day?
Well, just as positive habits compound,
Yeah.
negative ones do too.
Oh, okay.
Decline by 1% every day,
Mhm.
and you'll be close to 0 by the end of the year.
Wow.
So this really emphasizes the importance of being mindful of our daily choices.
Okay.
Even the seemingly insignificant ones.
Yeah.
Because they accumulate into something much bigger over
Right.
time.
Okay. That's both motivating and a little terrifying.
It is.
It makes you really want to pay attention to those small daily choices.
Right.
But Clear doesn't stop there.
No, he doesn't.
He also talks about habits shaping our identity. Like, what's he getting at there?
Well, Clear breaks down habit change into 3 layers.
Okay.
Outcomes, processes, and identity. And he believes that true transformation occurs at the identity level.
Okay.
It's not enough to just do something.
Yeah.
It's about believing in who you are becoming
Oh, wow.
through those actions.
So instead of aiming to, like, go for a run,
Right.
I should aim to become a runner.
Precisely.
Okay.
When your identity aligns with your desired habits, those actions become a natural extension of who you are.
That's powerful.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm starting to see how powerful that shift can be.
it is.
But how do these habits actually form in the first place?
Okay.
Like, is there a science to it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Clear explains a 4-stage process of habit formation:
Okay.
cue, craving response, and reward. Think of it as a feedback loop.
Okay.
Let's use the example of phone distractions.
Okay. Yeah.
The key might be your phone buzzing.
Uh-huh.
That triggers the desire to see what that notification's about.
Yeah.
Your response is to pick up the phone and check it.
Right.
And the reward is the satisfaction of knowing what the message says.
Or
Yeah.
seeing a funny meme or whatever.
Yeah.
This cycle repeats itself,
Yeah.
strengthening that habit over time.
So we're all just running on this loop of cues and reward.
Pretty much. Yeah.
That's kind of fascinating and a little unsettling.
Yeah.
But it also sounds like something we can hack, right? If we understand the system, can we use it to our advantage?
That's where Clear's 4 laws of behavior change come in.
Okay.
These laws map directly onto those 4 stages of habit formation. So for building good habits, you want to
Okay.
make it obvious. Create clear cues that trigger the desired behavior.
Okay.
Make it attractive. Link the habit to something pleasurable or rewarding. Make it easy. Reduce friction. Simplify the action as much as possible.
Right.
And make it satisfying. Ensure the habit has a positive and immediate payoff.
Okay. That seems pretty straightforward. But what about breaking bad habits?
You just reverse the process.
Okay.
Invert the laws.
Got it.
Make it invisible. Remove cues that trigger the unwanted behavior.
Yeah. Make it unattractive. Highlight the negative consequences of that habit. Make it difficult. Increase friction. Making the habit harder to do and make it unsatisfying.
Okay.
Reduce or eliminate the reward associated with the habit.
So to make meditation a habit,
Yeah.
I could make it obvious by putting my meditation cushion
Right.
in a prominent spot in my living room.
Exactly.
And to make it attractive,
Yeah.
maybe I light a scented candle,
Yeah.
play some calming music.
Yeah.
That sounds way more appealing than just like trying
Yeah.
to force myself to do it.
It does.
Yeah.
By consciously designing your environment
Uh-huh.
and actions, you can nudge yourself in the right direction.
Clear also talks a lot about the importance of our environment.
He does.
Even saying it can be more important than motivation. I mean, we all know willpower isn't always enough.
No, it's not.
Can you talk about that a little more?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Our environment is full of cues
Yeah.
that trigger these automatic behaviors. Clear mentions this one study
Okay.
where simply rearranging a cafeteria led to healthier food choices.
Oh, wow.
If we're constantly surrounded by temptations,
Right.
it's much harder to resist them.
So out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
Like if I want to eat healthier, maybe I should keep a bowl of fruit on the counter
Exactly.
instead of a bag of chips.
That's the idea.
Okay.
It's about making the desired action the easiest, most obvious choice.
Gotcha.
Want to read more? Keep a book on your bedside table.
Mm-hmm.
Want to exercise in the morning? Lay out your workout clothes the night before.
Wow. Starting to look around my apartment in a whole new light.
That's good.
But even with like the perfect setup,
Yeah.
sometimes I still get stuck in the planning stage. I'll spend ages creating the perfect workout playlist or meal plan, but never actually get started.
Mm-hmm.
Does Clear have any advice for overcoming that kind of inertia?
He does. He makes a distinction between motion and action, arguing that we often get caught up in planning and strategizing without making any real progress.
Okay.
He uses this fascinating example from a photography class.
Oh, yeah, the one where the students were divided into two groups.
That's the one.
Okay.
One group focused on quantity,
Okay.
taking as many photos as possible.
Mm-hmm.
The other group focused on quality,
Right.
producing a single perfect photo.
Yeah,
Intuitively, you might assume the quality group would excel, right?
I would have thought so, yeah.
But the results were surprising. The quantity group,
Mm-hmm.
the one that took action,
Okay.
actually produced the best work.
Oh, wow.
Why?
Yeah.
Because through consistent practice, they honed their skills.
Okay.
They experimented
Wow.
and learned through doing.
Yeah.
The quality group got bogged down in planning and analysis,
Uh-huh.
ultimately hindering their progress.
So it's better to take imperfect action
Yes.
than to strive for perfection that never comes.
Exactly.
That's powerful.
It is.
Yeah, but how do we apply that to building habits?
One of Clear's most practical tips is the 2-minute rule.
Okay.
He says, when you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do.
Okay.
The idea is to make that initial step so small
Right.
that it's almost impossible to resist.
Okay.
Want to start running? Just put on your running shoes.
Yeah.
Want to write a book? Just write one sentence.
I can see how that would be helpful for some people,
Right.
but I wonder if the 2-minute rule might feel too simplistic for others.
Okay.
I mean, what happens after those first 2 minutes?
That's a great point.
Yeah.
And it highlights the importance of building momentum.
Okay.
Once you've overcome that initial inertia, it becomes easier to keep going.
Yeah.
The 2-minute rule isn't about limiting yourself to 2 minutes.
Okay.
It's about using those 2 minutes to get the ball rolling.
Gotcha. So it's about shifting from a mindset of perfection
Yes.
to a mindset of progress.
Exactly.
But let's be realistic. Some people just seem naturally talented at certain things.
Yeah,
Does Clear address the role of genes and inherent abilities?
he does,
Yep.
and it's an important point.
Right.
He acknowledges that our genes can influence our natural inclination.
Okay.
Some of us may be predisposed towards certain skills
Right.
or personality traits.
Yeah.
However, he stresses that genes don't determine our destiny.
Okay.
He uses the example of the Polgar sisters who became chess prodigies.
Oh, yeah. The sisters who were raised in a home dedicated to chess.
Exactly.
Yeah, that always seemed like such a fascinating example.
It is.
Yeah.
Their story illustrates how environment can nurture talent.
Wow.
Their father believed any child could be a genius with the right training.
Right.
And he created an environment completely immersed in chess.
Yeah.
The girls lived and breathed chess,
Uh-huh.
which allowed their natural abilities to flourish.
So it's not just nature versus nurture.
Mm.
It's nature and nurture working together.
Working together.
That's really empowering.
It is.
Yeah, it means we can choose habits that align with our natural strengths.
Yes,
And put in the work to excel.
exactly.
Okay.
And that leads us to a critical concept
Okay.
for maximizing our potential,
Yeah.
which Clear calls the Goldilocks rule.
Ooh, the Goldilocks rule. That sounds intriguing.
It is.
But unfortunately, we're going to have to save that for part 2 of our deep dive.
Okay.
We're just about out of time for today.
I'm looking forward to unpacking that one with you.
Me too. Stay tuned, listeners, because we'll be back soon to explore
Mm-hmm.
how to find that sweet spot for optimal growth.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Welcome back. Before we took that pause, we were just about to explore Clear's Goldilocks rule.
Yes. This is the one about staying motivated, right?
That's right.
Okay, I'm ready to hear more.
The Goldilocks rule suggests that we're most motivated when we tackle tasks
Okay.
that are right on the edge of our current abilities.
Mm-hmm.
Not too hard, not too easy.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
Our brains love a challenge. But they also need to feel capable of meeting that challenge.
exactly.
Yeah.
If a task is too easy, we get bored.
Right.
Too hard, and we get discouraged.
Yeah.
But when it's in that Goldilocks zone,
Oh.
where we're stretching our abilities without feeling overwhelmed, that's when we hit peak motivation.
So how do we find that sweet spot?
Yeah.
It can't be about constantly pushing ourselves to the limit, can it?
Right.
That sounds like a recipe for burnout.
It's not about pushing to the point of exhaustion.
Okay.
It's more about finding that right balance
Mm-hmm.
between challenge and skill.
Okay.
This is where deliberate practice comes in.
Deliberate practice.
Yeah.
Is that different from just regular practice?
It is.
Okay.
Deliberate practice isn't about mindlessly repeating the same actions over and over.
Right.
It's about focusing on specific areas for improvement,
Okay.
pushing just beyond your comfort zone, and getting feedback to refine your approach.
So it's about being intentional and strategic with your practice. I can see how that would be more effective than just going through the motions.
Right.
But let's be honest, even with the best intentions,
Yeah.
we all slip up sometimes.
Of course.
Life happens. We fall off track with our habits.
Mm-hmm.
What does Clear say about dealing with those inevitable setbacks?
Well, Clear emphasizes the importance of not letting a single misstep derail your progress.
Okay.
He even has a rule for this.
Okay.
Never miss twice.
Never miss twice.
Yep.
So if I miss a day of my workout,
Mm-hmm.
I should get right back on track the next day.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's about recognizing that setbacks are a normal part of the process.
Right.
And not letting them turn into excuses for giving up entirely.
That's such a good reminder.
It is.
It's easy to get discouraged when we have a setback.
Yeah.
But it's so important to remember that it's just a small blip
Exactly.
in the overall journey.
Consistency is key, but it doesn't have to be perfect.
Right.
We're all human.
Yeah.
Life is full of unexpected twists and turns.
Speaking of support, does Clear have any tips for staying on track?
He does.
Okay.
When we're tempted to give up, what about accountability? This is where an accountability partner can be incredibly valuable.
Okay.
Having someone to share your goals with,
Yeah.
someone who can offer support and encouragement, can make a huge difference.
I can see how that would be helpful.
Yeah.
But isn't it a bit awkward asking someone to be our habit police?
It's not about policing at all.
Yeah.
It's about having someone who understands your goals and can offer encouragement and gentle reminders.
Right.
You could even create a habit contract together.
A habit contract, what does that look like?
It's simply an agreement
Yeah.
outlining your commitments and maybe even consequences for slipping up.
Okay.
Just the act of putting it in writing
Yeah.
and sharing it with someone can boost your motivation.
That's a really interesting idea. I might have to try that.
You should.
You know, all of this is making me think about the bigger picture
Right.
of what it means to be successful.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's not just about achieving specific outcomes,
Right.
but about cultivating a growth mindset
Mm-hmm.
and constantly striving for improvement.
You've hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
And that's something Clear highlights throughout the book.
Okay.
The importance of developing a system for continuous improvement.
What does that kind of system look like in practice?
It involves regularly reflecting on your progress,
Okay.
identifying areas for improvement,
Mm-hmm.
and adjusting your approach as needed.
Right.
It's about embracing lifelong learning
Yeah.
and always seeking ways to get better, even when things are going well.
This reminds me of something we discussed earlier. The danger of becoming complacent once we've developed good habits.
Right.
It's like we can get so good at doing something on autopilot
Yeah.
that we stop paying attention to the details and stop pushing ourselves.
That's a real risk.
Yeah. It's why Clear emphasizes combining habits with deliberate practice,
Okay.
even when something becomes second nature.
Right. We need to continue refining our skills,
Hmm.
staying open to new ways of doing things,
Yeah.
and challenging ourselves to grow.
So it's not about setting it and forgetting it.
No.
We need to actively participate in our growth, even when things are going well.
Precisely.
Yep.
Continuous improvement isn't a destination.
Right.
It's a journey that requires ongoing effort, self-awareness,
Devil.
and a willingness to adapt.
This has been so insightful. I'm feeling inspired to take all of this, really apply it to my own life.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
And there's even more to explore in the third part of our deep dive.
You're right. We still have one more part to go.
We do.
Okay.
In part 3, we'll delve into some even more advanced tactics from Clear's book, including how to maximize your talent leverage technology
Wow.
and truly go from good to great.
I can't wait, listeners. Make sure to join us for the final part of our deep dive into atomic habits.
Yes.
We'll be back after a short pause. We're back and ready to wrap up our deep dive into atomic habits with some advanced tactics for maximizing our potential. I'm excited to hear what other insights Clear has to offer.
Me too.
Yeah.
In this final part, we'll explore how to really refine those habits
Okay.
and take things to the next level.
Mm.
One of Clear's key points here is about leveraging our strengths,
Okay.
not just focusing on fixing our weaknesses.
I like that idea.
Yeah,
It's about playing to our natural advantages, right?
exactly.
But how do we even figure out what those strengths are?
Clear suggests exploring different activities and fields
Okay.
to see what comes naturally. He even talks about the Big 5 personality traits
Oh.
as a framework for self-understanding.
Right.
These are openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism.
So I should pay attention to what I enjoy
Yeah,
and what I seem to be naturally good at.
exactly.
Does that mean like personality tests can be helpful?
They can be.
Okay.
It's all about gathering information about yourself
Right.
and noticing patterns.
Oh.
Once you've identified those areas of strength,
Mm.
you can choose habits that support and amplify them.
Yeah,
It's working with your nature, not against it.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
It reminds me of those chess prodigy sisters.
The Polgars.
Yeah, the Polgars.
Yeah.
They had a natural inclination towards chess,
Right.
and their environment was set up to nurture that talent.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a perfect example of how aligning your habits and environment with your strengths can lead to incredible results.
Okay. Playing to our strengths is a great tactic.
Yeah.
What else does Clear suggest for mastering our habits?
He encourages us to think about technology as a tool for habit building.
Okay.
We can actually automate certain habits, making them easier to maintain,
Right.
and reducing the reliance on willpower,
Yeah.
which we know can be fickle.
Yeah, I like the sound of that.
It is.
Tell me more about how tech can help us build better habits.
Well, consider automatic savings plans.
Okay.
You set it up once, and a portion of your money is automatically transferred to your savings account each month.
Right.
You don't even have to think about it.
That's such a simple but effective example.
It is.
What are some other ways we can use technology to automate good habits?
There's a whole world of apps and tools out there.
Really?
Fitness trackers can remind you to move.
Okay.
Habit tracking apps can keep you accountable.
Mm-hmm.
And even apps that block distracting websites during certain times.
Wow, that opens up a lot of possibilities.
It does.
Technology seems like a powerful ally in our quest for habit mastery.
Oh, yeah, it is.
But are there any downsides to relying on technology so much?
Right.
Could we become too dependent on it?
It's a great question.
Yeah.
And it highlights the need for balance.
Right.
We don't want to become so reliant on technology
No.
that we lose our own ability to self-regulate.
Mhm.
It's about using technology as a tool,
Right.
but still maintaining personal responsibility.
Right. It's about finding the right mix of tech support and good old-fashioned effort. Yeah, exactly.
So we've covered playing to our strengths and using technology to automate habits.
Mhm.
Any other final pieces of advice for those of us striving for habit mastery?
Curie reminds us that self-improvement is an ongoing journey.
Okay.
Even when we've achieved a certain level of success,
Right.
we shouldn't become complacent.
Yeah.
We should always be looking for ways to refine our habits, learn new skills,
Yeah.
and continue growing.
So it's not about reaching some perfect end state.
Right.
It's about embracing the journey of continuous improvement.
Exactly.
I love that.
It is a good one.
And remember, even those small changes we talked about earlier,
Right.
when compounded over time, can lead to remarkable results.
They do.
Don't underestimate the power of atomic habits.
Absolutely.
This has been such a fantastic deep dive into atomic habits.
It has.
We've covered so much ground, from the power of small changes and the importance of environment
Mhm.
to deliberate practice and leveraging technology.
It's been a lot.
You've given us a lot to think about. It's been a pleasure exploring these ideas with you.
I agree. And I know our listeners out there taking it all in too.
Mm-hmm.
As we wrap up, I have one final question for you.
Okay.
And I want you, our listener, to think about this as well.
Okay.
If you could choose just one atomic habit to start building today,
Right.
what would it be and why?
Hmm.
Let that thought simmer as you go about your day.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.
It's been fun.
We'll see you next time for another fascinating exploration.
Thank you for joining us at Wisdom House, where we bring you timeless insights from the greatest books. If you found this deep dive valuable, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Wisdom House. Stay curious, stay inspired, and we'll see you in the next video.